Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. I'm Mickey Feldman-Simon. I am the founder of I'm Back at Work. I'm very excited to have Maria Vasquez here with us today. When I heard her speaking at a conference, she was the keynote, and I was like, okay, Maria, you got to come and speak to the women at I Am Back at Work. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this presentation. She will present to us today about In Your Fullness, operating from an authentic place of love and gratitude. Thank you for joining us here today, and I hope you join our other webinars, whether they're the live ones or the ones on demand. And before we get started, I just want to make sure that everybody can navigate their GoToMeeting webinar panel. So your panel may look like the image on the right where it is closed up, or the image on the left where it is expanded. And to open and close it, you just click on the orange arrow at the top, and that will open or close the panel for you. Now, if the webinar panel is obstructing the view of the PowerPoint, all you need to do is click anywhere at the top and then just drag it out of the way. Now, in the last 5 minutes of the webinar, we're going to have a Q&A session. And to ask questions, you click on the gray questions bar, and then you type in your questions in the blue rectangle right underneath. And so now I'm going to turn my video camera off, and I'm going to pass it on to Maria. Thank you, Maria, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Mickey. And thank you to all of you ladies for coming out and for joining us in this webinar, for choosing to spend some of your time with us. As a mom and as an entrepreneur, I know how important time is. It's something that once we use it up, we can't get it back. So I am super appreciative of when someone else chooses to invite us to come along on their journey, and they choose to, use some of their time with us. So thank you so much for joining us. So this is me. I am Maria Milagros Vasquez. My company name is Maria Milagros. It is my first and middle name, and Milagros means miracles. And the reason why I decided to just go with my name is because of the word miracles. I'm a miracle, you are a miracle. And if we operated fully in that capacity, what we could do for the world is just amazing. So that's why I chose to stick with my name for my company. So this is a little bit about me. I am an award-winning speaker. I did speak at TEDx Natick. I am an author of a book called Super Sparkly Everything. It's available on Amazon. I am an empowerment life coach. I'm a mom. And yes, I do include that in my list of credentials because any mother is a superhero, right? And my brother decided to call me a curator of optimism and love. So I love the way that sounds, and I'm like preserving it and trying to show it off to the world. So this is a little bit about me. So we're gonna get started right away so we can go ahead and use your time wisely. The question right now is, why should I practice operating in my fullness? Well, we as women, we play so many roles in our lives. You can see that they're listed here. And when we're able to operate from an authentic place where we really are comfortable with who we are and how we move through the world, we do that from a place of love and gratitude, then we are able to bring our full self into every area of our lives. And this contributes to us living more fulfilled lives, right? So moving on. What does operating in my fullness even mean? A lot of women ask me that when I say, oh, we have to get you into a place where you're operating in your fullness. What does that even mean? It means taking all of the things that make you you and bringing them to the forefront of everything that you do. It means bringing that unique combination into every area of your life so that you can live a life that is both consistent and congruent. So whether you're at the supermarket or whether you're at work or whether you're at home, you don't feel like you're constantly altering your ego or your personality rather for these different roles. You're bringing all of yourself into all of those different roles. And people who live more congruent lives, again, are more fulfilled. They feel like they have more freedom. They have more fun, and we could all use more fun. And they feel like they can operate and receive greater amounts of love. So we're going to start here. There's this great African proverb that I love, 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 and it says, educate a man and you educate an individual. Educate a woman and you educate a family, a village, a nation. The reason why I love this so much is because it's a reminder that we as women, we are very tribal, right? For instance, myself, and I know a lot of women can attest to this, if I go somewhere and I go to buy something and there's a sale, I'm going to take a picture of that sale and that sign, and I'm going to send it to all my girlfriends. I might post it all over social media. I'm going to try to tell everybody in my phone book that there's a sale happening, you have to get your butt down there, there's a sale, you get to save a lot of money, right? My goal is I have this new information that benefits me. I want to share this out. Most women are like this. On the flip side, men will go purchase what they need to purchase. There's a sale, great, they saved money, and then they leave and they go on with their day. They don't let people know, like, yo, there's a sale. They don't tell people. We do. This is who we are as women. We share out information. Studies have shown that men will share information with approximately an average of 2 people within the first 3 days of learning something new. Women share it with an average of 9 people within the first 24 hours. So that just, again, goes to show that we love sharing out information. Now, imagine if all the information that we get about who we are and how amazing we are, and then we were able to live that example and share that out with the world, what kind of world it would be. So here are 3 reminders, and I'm going to remind you of these in the beginning and then again at the end. We can only give what we have. We can only teach what we know. And our greatest teaching tool is our living example, right? You're more likely to teach from what you do than to teach from what you say. So this is a really great thing in a relationship, if you have employees or coworkers, if you have children, and so on and so forth, because we're constantly teaching out based on our example. All right. There are 3 things that we have to stop doing, here it is, immediately, if not sooner, in order to get to a better place that we are operating from our fullness. And if you don't have a pen or a pencil, you might want to screenshot this or whatever, because you want to write these down and start becoming more self-aware of these 3 things so that you can stop doing them immediately, if not sooner. I mean, yesterday, if not sooner, right? And at the same time, this is a process. Be kind to yourself. Okay. So the 3 things are this. First and foremost, you want to stop comparing and competing. The second is stop complaining. And the third is stop being complacent. So let's break these down a little bit. First, we want to stop comparing and competing with other people, especially other women, because when we do that, we minimize the uniqueness and the greatness of who we are to compare or compete with someone else. This is not beneficial for anybody. When we show up and we operate in our fullness, by taking permission to do that, we also extend permission to other people, which then means I'm operating in my strengths, she's operating in her strengths, and then together we're more compatible, we're more collaborative, right? We're able to do that work together. When we're competing against each other, a lot of times what happens in competition is that people minimize the uniqueness of who they are so that they can line up with other people. That's not what we're looking for, because again, you're letting go of the amazing things that make you who you are. And the same thing when it comes to comparing. A lot of times people will say, I want that life, or I want that, but you didn't live their life, you didn't walk through their shoes. So we have to just acknowledge that our journey is ours and their journey is theirs. And so there is no competition, there is no comparison. You are the only one of you that ever has been, ever is, and ever will be. When you are operating as an original, how can you compare against an original, right? When you're operating as an original, how can anyone compete with an original? You can't. So we have to start being more aware of when we are doing that with other people, especially with each other, with women, and we have to stop doing that, right? Self-awareness is key. Okay, the second is we have to stop complaining. We spend more time and energy focusing on what we don't have or what's not going right versus all of the wonderful things about our life, versus all the things that are going right. And we're going to talk more about this later when I give you 5 steps and things that you should start doing immediately, if not sooner, right? I love this this statement. I use this as a mantra, and it's, we should not complain about what we permit. One of my pet peeves, and I use the word pet, as a, what's the word? You'll see. I use the word pet particularly because a lot of times, and I use this as a simple example, people will complain about their dog, and I have to walk the dog in the morning, and I have to do this with the dog and that with the dog. Last time I checked, those dogs did not show up with their packed bags at your door, knock on your door, invite themselves in and move into your house. No. You probably did research. You went and paid for that dog. You might have driven to another state to get that dog. You bought all kinds of stuff to take care of that dog, and you were so excited about that dog. And now you're complaining about the very thing that you brought into your home and you permitted. We do this with our jobs. We build our resume and we tweak it so that it's perfect for that job. We write a cover letter. We get recommendations. We pray and beg, oh, please let me get this job. And then we get the job, and within a few months, we're complaining about the very job we were praying for. we should stop complaining, and we definitely need to stop complaining about the things that we permit. If the job wasn't 100% what you thought, there are things that you can do to get a new job or to make your job more enjoyable or to get your passion back. But complaining about it is doing a disservice to everyone. And more importantly, it's doing a disservice to you mentally and physically. When we're in a space of complaining, we're not in a space of operating in our fullness. We're not in a space of gratitude, right? So we have to, again, become self-aware of when those negative words and those whiny complaints are coming out of our mouths. Stop yourself and instead go, what's good about this? What's something that's a benefit of this? What's something that I can take from this? What are a couple of things about my job that I do enjoy, right? And just focus on those things instead, because then it changes the dynamics of what's happening, not just in your physiology, but in your psychology as well. And then the work becomes more productive, more efficient, and so on and so forth. Okay. And then the third is being complacent. We have got to, a lot of times I hear women say, there's nothing I can do. This is my life. I'm kind of stuck in this right now. No, not ever. We constantly have choices. There's no stuck. We don't, the only time that you're really truly stuck is when you choose to sit and do nothing, right? Operating in your fullness is really about awakening all of your passions and all the things that make you feel alive and choosing to do that. Now, I was talking to a woman yesterday and she was saying how she wants to take a dance class, but the closest dance class for adults is 40 minutes away. It just doesn't fit with her schedule. Okay. Then there are other things that you can do. What are some alternatives that you can do until that fits in your schedule? And then she said, oh, well, you know what? There's YouTube, and I could always start taking some beginner classes on YouTube. There you go. Oh, I have a friend who really likes dancing. Maybe we could meet up once a week and watch the YouTube video. Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. Let me text her right now. And it was so empowering for her to figure out a way that she could make this thing a part of her life, because sitting around going, oh, woe to me, this is my life, being complacent wasn't activating her fullness. It wasn't activating her passion. She wasn't operating from a place of love and gratitude. And so again, when we stop doing these things, we open ourselves up to opportunities. We open ourselves up to being able to see the many blessings that are in our lives. And then we can start moving in and out of those spaces, again, with more love and gratitude. I love this quote. It says, make the world a better place one person at a time, and start with yourself. A lot of times we think that we have to go out and save the world. And that's a fantastic goal. Absolutely. I think we should be of service to other people, but we cannot give what we do not have, right? So it has to start here first. And then the better that we are here, the more able we are to operate from a place of love and gratitude here, the more authentically we can show up into the world, the better we are at everything we do and for everyone in our lives. So I love this quote for that reason. Okay, here are 5 things that you need to start doing yesterday. And again, be kind to yourself. This is a process. Okay, so the first one is this. We have got to get better at just breathing, giving ourselves room and space to just sit and breathe. To a lot of people, they say, I don't have time to sit and breathe. No, honey, you don't have time to not sit and breathe. And here's why. It is scientifically proven that when you sit, even if it's just for 5 minutes, and you allow your mind to empty itself of all the to-do lists and all the drama and all the stuff, and you just sit and connect with your body and connect with your breath, when you get back up to move into your life, you're able to do so from a place that you feel a little more energized, your mind is a little clearer, and when you're clearer and energized, you handle problems better, or rather you see those problems as opportunities. You are more productive, you're more efficient, you're more effective, you're more loving. We could all use a little more loving. So it is really important that we give ourselves an opportunity to just sit and breathe. And how this connects to operating in your fullness is that when you're able to just sit and give yourself those few minutes, that's self-love and self-care. And then you move forward like, okay, I feel a little more revived. I feel a little more like me, right? And that's really important, because then we bring that me into everything that we do. The second is this. We have to practice gratitude on a regular basis. And by regular, I really mean daily. On a daily basis, we have to practice gratitude, because again, we spend so much time complaining or focusing on what's not going right that we miss all of the beautiful and the wondrous stuff that's happening. It could be something as simple as pens. I love pens that when I need one, there's one available to me and I can write stuff down. I don't have to use a feather and a quill, right? And lip balm. Lord knows I love me some lip balm. And so little things like that. It could be big things like indoor plumbing and love and, right, like all those things as well. We have to get better at practicing things in our lives that we have to be grateful for, the little things and the big things, because really life is made up of all those little things and all those little moments. Here are 3 quick ways that you can practice gratitude by yourself or with someone else. When you're going for a drive in the car, as you're driving, look around and just list off a bunch of things that you're grateful for. You're grateful for your car, for tires, for the person in your car, for music, for your technology, for trees, for oxygen, right? And you could do this on a drive. I do this with my daughter in the mornings when we drive into school. We go back and forth and we see how many things we can list until we repeat. Then when I drop her off, she feels really good, energized and revived. I feel fantastic, and so on and so forth. The second is you can actually write a gratitude list. There are gratitude journals where you can make a list of all the things you have to be grateful for. When I do leadership trainings, one of the things that I recommend that a lot of these corporations start their meetings doing is practicing gratitude. Everyone goes around the room in a circle and lists one thing that they're grateful for. What happens, guaranteed, is that everybody is smiling when they list that one thing. It changes what happens in you, and then you feel better to move forward. This is also a really great one that, in terms of making a list, that you can make about all the things that you're grateful for about yourself. 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 hands, 2 arms, 2 legs, and so on and so forth. Just appreciating the things about you that make you you. And then the third thing is my daughter and I did this for a full year, and it was awesome. We had a gratitude jar. And what we did was every day at the end of the day, we would write one thing, either a thing or an experience or something that happened that we were grateful for, and we just stuck it in the jar. We did it every night before we went to bed. And on New Year's, at the end of that year, we cracked this thing open. She had hot cocoa. I had a glass of wine. We had some popcorn, and we read through all of these. There were over 700 of these in this jar. And we thought, oh my gosh, we had an awesome year. And then we brought that energy into our new year. Right? You could do this at the end of the month. You could do this at the end of a week. It doesn't have to be as long as a year. But those are 3 quick ways that you can allow yourself to practice gratitude more regularly. Because again, when we are doing that and we're continuously operating from a place of gratitude, we're operating from a place of love. We're feeling better about who we are and about our life circumstances. And when you have that kind of mentality, you're moving in your fullness throughout the course of your life. And I do want to just plug this too. There have been over 2,000 gratitude studies that prove that consistent gratitude work can cure depression. What? Yes, it can cure depression if we're focusing and using our energy to focus on the things in our lives that are going good and that we're grateful for. All right. Third one is, we skipped one. Third one is this: invest in your strengths. When I say invest, I'm talking time, energy, and money. The things that you enjoy doing, the things that you're good at, the things that make you feel alive, you have to carve out time, energy, and money to invest in those things. Because again, when you do, it allows you to operate more fully as who you are. It allows you to hone your skills. It allows you to hone your strengths. And then you bring that energy and that vibrancy into the world. And then you stop competing and comparing, because I don't have to be like her. I'm really good at this. And I've honed that strength, and I'm really, I feel really alive when I do that. She's really good at that other thing, and so on and so forth. So this is a really important one. We have to make sure that we're investing in our strengths. And again, this is your counterpart to being complacent, is choosing to take one baby step to, again, time, energy, or money, a combination, or all 3, into the things that make you feel alive, that you're good at, that you're passionate about, right? Okay, 4. 4 is affirm yourself. It is of the utmost importance, ladies, that we take the time to remind ourselves who we are and to stop expecting validation from everybody else around us. Because although we can get it, it's not something that can happen consistently from outside of us, because they're going to have a bad day, or they're going to have, something happen in their lives where they just don't have the energy, or they're going to be tired, and we show up looking for them to validate us, and they just don't have it in them. This is why it is so important that becomes a bonus. And what's actually happened all the time is that we are affirming ourselves. We write a list of affirmations, we stand in a power pose position, and we recite those affirmations. It only takes 2 minutes a day. That's it. 2 minutes of you standing like this. I am amazing. I am powerful. I am resilient. Because here's the truth. A lot of women, when I say that to them, you're amazing, you're resilient, they say, no, I'm not. Have you ever overcome something in your life? Then you're resilient. Have you ever solved the problem? Then you're intelligent. Have you ever used external resources to figure something out? Then you're resourceful. Have you ever handled something that came along that you thought you couldn't handle? Then you're capable. Are you the only one of you that ever has been, ever is, and ever will be? Then you're beautiful and unique, right? Those things are true. Those are true statements. We dismiss them because we're looking for the next thing to validate us. Those are true right now. And when we take the time to affirm ourselves, to do the affirmations, we move forward again from that place of fullness. I don't need you to validate me, so I'm showing up with overflow, and I'm going to give my overflow to my children, to my spouse, to my employees, to my employers, to my coworkers, whatever. I'm showing up from that space because, again, I don't need you to validate me. I did that work. And so now I'm showing up and I'm operating in my fullness, and then I can give you more because the energy is not me expecting from you. The energy is me giving, right? So that's a really great one. And then this is my favorite story to tell. This is Bring the Juice. And this is about intention and being intentional about the energy, again, that we bring into the spaces of our lives so that we live more fulfilled lives. The short story of this is I'm one of 6 kids, and my youngest brother, at the time, he had no children. So he had one job, and his one job was to bring juice for the kids to be able to drink when we have family gatherings and parties. So one day he shows up at the door empty-handed, and we're all in the kitchen cooking and doing our thing. And when we look over at him empty-handed, we didn't even have to say anything. We just gave him that look, that look like, that. So we gave him that look, and he scanned the room, walked in reverse out the door, down to the porch, turned around, went down the stairs, got in the car, and drove away. And my sister said, I don't think he's coming back. And I said, well, one of 2 things is happening. Either he's going to come back with juice, or he's not coming back at all. And either one is safe for him right now. So we have a little laugh, we move on. About 20 minutes later, he showed up. He had so much juice. I mean, gallons upon gallons of juice. It was extra. And we just couldn't stop laughing. And he said, y'all will never look at me like that again. This is juice for the next party and the next party and the next party. And he wasn't kidding. And I love this analogy because I like to think of life as a party. I lived through being depressed for many, many years. And when I clawed my way out, I said to myself, I will not go back. My life is a party. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be full of love. It's supposed to be exciting. Will things go wrong sometimes? Yes. But my perspective will alter how I'm able to handle that. When I show up, I'm going to bring the juice, right? I'm going to bring enormous amounts of juice. So this is about intention. When you show up to the spaces of your life, are you fully showing up? Are you fully showing up as yourself with all of your love and all of your gratitude and all of your good? Are you showing up with the intent of bringing fun and love, or are you showing up expecting other people to fill you up? Because that is exhausting, and that's not operating in our fullness. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and for making sure that we're okay. And like my sister said, I don't think he's coming back. If he chose not to come back, that's okay too, because there are times in life where we don't need to be showing up. If we're depleted, we're exhausted, we're not feeling well, you need to go away and rest. You need to go take care of yourself again so that you're operating from a place of fullness when you come back into those spaces. So you're operating from a place of love and gratitude when you come back into those spaces. Now, I just want to be clear that this does not mean that you should not accept help, that you should not ask for help when you need it, that you should not delegate, right? That's not what that means. That means, yes, I'm not feeling well, and yes, you can help me take care of my kids. I'm taking this time to take care of myself so that I can show up and bring the juice, so that I can live in my fullness. I hope that makes sense. All right. I love these numbers. I'm such a data nerd. So this is about how many people are on the planet. It's 7,790,000,000. It's an estimate of how many people are on the planet. You are the only one of you out of all of these people. You're the only one. You're the only one that ever has been, the only one that presently is, and the only one that ever will be. You're the only one. Even identical twins only share 50% of their DNA. You are truly the only one of you. Know that, absorb that, embody that. And when you show up with that knowledge. I'm the only one of me. There's no competing or comparison. I have to stop complaining because I'm the only one of me. And this is my only one life. I get to decide how I'm going to operate and move through this world. You're the only one of you. This is another number for you. 400 quadrillion. That has 5 commas in it. That's a ridiculous number. 1 in 400 quadrillion. This is the chance of you being born. The chance of you being born is 1 in 400 quadrillion, which means that you are here on purpose. Do you hear me? You are here on purpose. If this was the chance of a human being born and still living today, then you were not an accident or a mistake. You are here on purpose. And your purpose is to fully show up in who you are and bring that love, gratitude, and energy into the world to make it a better place, to create a positive impact. Because again, out of 7 billion, not 790 million people on the planet, you're the only one of you. You're the only one of you. And the chance of you being here is nearly impossible, which means you're here on purpose. So we have to get better at owning these numbers and owning that information and showing up from that space. And it takes practice, because if you've been told your whole life that you're a mistake, or you weren't supposed to happen, or what's the point, or you're useless, or if you've been told that story, it is high time that you start rewriting that story for yourself, because the data, the science proves that you are here on purpose and you are a unique being and you're the only one of you. And I love this quote, because no one is you, and that is your power. When you are operating from that true space of like, this is who I am. And if you don't know who you are, take the time to figure it out. Take the time to figure it out. Here's what's another thing that's really important that I want to make sure that I give you. And I have to say this in all of my talks, and I want women to walk away with this information. What other people think about you is not your business. Do you hear me? What other people think about you is not your business. What is your business is knowing, am I complaining? Am I competing? Am I being complacent? I got to check myself. Am I breathing? Am I practicing gratitude? Am I investing in my strengths? Am I affirming myself? Am I bringing the juice? That's my business. What other people may or may not be thinking about me is not my business. I'm the only one of me that ever has been, ever is, and ever will be. I'm one of 400. The chance of me being here is 1 in 400 quadrillion, and I'm meant to make a positive impact. And that could be smiling at a stranger at a supermarket, digging wells in third world countries, or just being a good person at my job, right? Being a positive and constructive and productive team member. It doesn't always have to be this huge grandiose thing. What other people think about you is not your business. And the sooner you get that and you really embody and internalize that, the sooner you're going to start feeling more free, and you're going to start feeling more full, and you're going to start feeling like, I get to fully be me, because it doesn't really matter what they think. I'm the only one of me. I only have this one life, and I'm here on purpose. Yeah, I like Marvel Comics. I'm a fan. If you gave me a moment, I would dress up as Captain Marvel. I'm talking about myself, ladies. I'm talking about myself, right? That's true. And I'm in a space where I have no problem saying that to people. I have no problem saying these things out loud and sharing this, because it's part of what makes me me. And then I also find that I make connections through these quirky things, and they're not necessarily quirky. It's just part of who I am, right? All right. So here's where we can apply these. You can apply these in your relationships with your spouse, your partner, your children, your family, your friends, your coworkers, employees, employers, right? You get it. You can apply this at work, in the work that you do, in the work that you delegate, in meetings, when we talked about that gratitude work, and even affirmations. I've had corporations do those in their meetings, and the people report back that when they do them consistently, they feel really great. The meetings are productive. You can do this in your health. When you affirm yourself, when you do gratitude work, this is so, I can't even explain the science behind what it does for you mentally and in your physiology. In terms of your mental health, it increases your happy hormones, it decreases your cortisol. This is good stuff, right? For your emotional health and for your physical health, not being complacent and carving out time to move, to eat healthy, and so on. And you can apply these when it comes to fun and leisure, which you should be including in your everyday life. Relax. You deserve to have more fun and live a fuller life. I wrote that in there just in case. Okay. All right. Studies have shown that people who live in the fullness of who they are, they're more authentic, they're happier, they experience more positive emotions, they have higher self-esteem. They exhibit increased productivity, increased creativity, increased overall health, and improved relationships. We all want more of this, right? So essentially, there are 2 jobs that you have. The first is to take care of yourself. Own all of the wonderful things that make you you. Focus on all the good things about yourself. Develop your gifts, your strengths, and your passions. The first one is self, right? It has to come from here first. We talked about that earlier in that quote. And the second is to share your gifts and passions in order to change the world, or to change someone's world. And let me be clear. When we positively impact someone's world, directly or indirectly, it changes the entire world. There are ripple effects that we may not ever know about or see, but I guarantee you that they are happening. So these essentially are your 2 jobs: self first, and then you give from your overflow. The reminder, we can only give what we have. We can only teach what we know, and our greatest teaching tool is our living example. So again, why should you practice operating in your fullness? Well, there's only one of you, and the world needs that version, right? They don't need a carbon copy. They don't need somebody who's trying to be like Beyonce or trying to be like J-Lo. Nope, they just need you. With all of your experiences and all of your education and all of your skills and all of your quirkiness or all of, all the things that make you you, the world needs that. The world needs more of that. And again, when you're operating from an authentic place, you give permission to other people to do the same. Imagine a world where people were fully in love with who they are and operating from that space, where they were validating and affirming themselves. Imagine. Oh my gosh. Okay. Why? Because you are deserving and worthy. Why? Because operating in your fullness equates to a more fulfilled, happy, and fun life. And I love this quote by Martha Graham. She says, "You are unique, and if that is not fulfilled, then something is lost." Let us not be lost anymore, ladies. Let us choose to take on the responsibility to own everything that makes us wonderful and to operate from that place. So I want to say thank you so much for your time, and thank you to Mickey. I know she's going to take back over now, and we're going to answer some questions and stuff. Here's our contact information if you need to contact either of us. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I know we kind of plowed through and it was a lot, but thank you for your time and for having me here and having me be a part of this, because it's so important that we do this work together as a tribe, because that's who we are and that's what we're designed to do. Thank you.
Maria, thank you. And everybody, please, this is your opportunity to type in your questions. Just your energy, Maria, I think that is inspiring on itself. Have a drink of water, relax for a second while people ask their questions.
Yes.
Thank you really for sharing all of that. And I think sometimes we feel like we need that permission to just be who we are. So ladies, give it to yourself.
Yeah.
And while we take a moment here, I also want to invite everybody to the I'm Back at Work women's only closed Facebook group. Just go into Facebook. There's a page and there's a group. So please join our group. It's called I'm Back at Work. And I think that just reading all these questions here, this was great. I loved your quote. Was it, "We should not complain about what we permit"? I think that was it, right? Is that the quote? Exactly. Yes, I think sometimes it's like I love the dogs. I have the 2 dogs, and I tell myself often that I got the 2 dogs, whether I got them for my kids or not. I did get them myself. And we are also awesome talk and energy with which it was given. Yes, Maria.
Thank you.
This was so positive. Thank you for the great energy. Your energy is infectious, Maria. Thank you. I so agree. And I have to say that's why I really wanted to bring Maria to talk with all of you today.
Thank you. And I want to say this too. Growing up, I was always told that my energy level was a problem and I needed to taper it and bring it down. And then I felt like I wasn't fully being myself. And it wasn't until I started college that one of my professors, she said, "There's something in you that you're not letting out and you have to unleash it." And I thought, oh no, but I'll get in trouble. People keep telling me to calm down and to bring it down a notch. You're too much. You're too sunshiny. You're too this, that, and the other. And when I finally unleashed it, I thought, oh my gosh, this is part of my gift. This is part of my gift to the world, right? I have this energy, and when I had permission to use it, then what happened was my siblings started going, oh, I don't have to taper myself. Oh, and then again, it creates these ripple effects. So I'm so glad that energy is something that you're talking about, because again, I wasn't operating in my fullness when I was younger, and it wasn't until I got older that I really took it on and said, this is a part of who I am. I have a lot of energy. Like this is Maria. So I owned it all. And then in doing so, now I can move more authentically through the world, and I bring this into what I do, right? So thank you so much for mentioning that and for bringing that up.
So Jean is also saying, by the way, that she will be starting her gratitude jar today. Okay. And Needy's asking, any tips for female leaders dealing with male counterparts, specifically male employees don't look up to us?
Yes.
So do you want to start? I have some thoughts as well.
Yes, yes. Again, I found that when I started off, in the criminal justice field, and my advisor in college, with the best of intentions, said, pull your hair back, because I used to have big curly hair. Pull your hair back, put it in a bun, wear a suit, wear gray, wear blue, and she was very like, look the part, like a guy almost, right? I had to be almost ambiguous in my gender so that I could be respected. So when I first started working there, at the courthouse and at the jail, when I first started doing that work, I did the thing that she told me to do. And then what started happening was, again, I said, no, I don't feel comfortable in these suits. This is not who I am. I like to wear my hair out. So as I started getting more comfortable at the job, I started letting out my hair and wearing different clothes and so on and so forth. And then when I fully started showing up, and I mean, when I fully started showing up, bright colors, big hoop earrings, my hair like this, and I started owning the space, and I realized that I stopped, again, minimizing myself to compete or to compare. And I just showed up in my fullness, and I said, I'm going to own this space when I walk in here. What happened eventually was the men, because it's a male dominated field, the men were listening more. They were more respectful. They were saying, oh, that's a really good idea. When I was showing up with my hair pulled back in a bun in the suit, they were fighting me. And I find that what happens sometimes is the energy that we bring this energy like it's a competition. They're going to fight me. And then we get a competition and we get fight. When I showed up like, this is who I am, and I'm brilliant, and I have something to give you that's going to benefit you, I found that, and not in a cocky space, in a knowing space. When I showed up like that, even the men in these places were going, yeah, that's a really good point. Oh, I never thought of it that way. And then I realized, again, when we're operating from a place of authenticity, we give other people in the room permission to kind of bring down that competitive comparison guard. Now, in the corporate world, I do the same thing. I show up for these meetings. I'm brightly colored. And everybody's gray and navy suits. And I just show up. And the first thing I talk about is how much I appreciate what they do, right? And when I do that, the guards come down. Now you can hear me. We're just two people communicating, blah, blah, blah. So I would recommend, one, really taking a look internally first and acknowledging what kind of energy am I bringing into these spaces? Am I expecting a fight every time? Because you do create an energy around that. And then two, am I fully showing up, right? Like, can I expect these people to fully accept and see me and take my information when I'm not fully showing up? I'm showing up as this version of what I think they may or may not want to see or hear, right? And the other thing too, I also found that when I started changing my jargon, right? I acknowledge that I'm very, very smart. I know that about myself. I also grew up in the Bronx. I'm a little bit ghetto. So I throw that in and I keep it very real with people. And I found that when I show up authentically and from that real place, people attach to that. They want more of that. They say, oh my gosh, what is it about you? I just show up. So that's my recommendation, is to look internally first and acknowledge, like, what kind of energy am I bringing into the space? And then what am I fully showing up? Am I fully showing up? And you don't want to go like cussing all over the place and dropping a bunch of slang words, right? I wouldn't do that because I'm still in a leadership role. But I do let little spurts of it come out because that's just who I am. And I'm not going to pretend to not be that to appease them. And again, when we operate from that authentic place, people really attach and are drawn to that realness. And then because their guard is down, they can hear you. They can take your information. They can take your advice and so on. So I hope that that's kind of what you were looking for. And I hope that helps. You should try it and then let me know. You have my email.
Well, I hope Nikki, okay, Nikki's saying thank you, Mickey and Maria. So, okay. By the way, I'd really appreciate, and she was saying that was very helpful as well. So I'd really appreciate, ladies, if you also go on the website and leave a review of the webinar to help other women come and watch the webinar as well, so that they can sort of appreciate what we just went through too. Yeah. So I think that's the end of our questions. It's definitely the end of our time. So thank you everyone for joining us here today, and I hope you join us in other upcoming webinars, and thank you, Maria.
Yes, thank you, Mickey, and thank you, ladies. And seriously, get over to her website. There's so many great webinars over there that are free. Like, what are you doing? Go invest in yourself by getting in those free webinars. They're awesome. Thank you, Mickey, for having this platform.
Thank you, Maria. It's my pleasure. Bye, ladies.
Bye.